I too 8F just got fired from my job and I don't know why. That's pretty much it. I got fired. I've never been fired before. I missed a lot of work recently, so I get it. 1 week was because I was on the wrong antipsychotic, and if you know, you know. If you don't, you turn into someone you aren't. For me, I checked into a mental institution while the effects wore off. Then I went back, everything was fine, and then my almost mother-in-law passed away, so I was out of work taking care of the kids, so he could be with his mom and help plan the funeral and all that. Then I was back to work, everything was fine, until I had a panic attack. I am still grieving and my boss is an ass, so I Saturday outside to calm down, then was told to leave, and then I got a text saying I was fired. No notice, no write-ups, just last month I was working 6 days a week for them. Like, I don't get what I did wrong. Now I'm just sad and looking for a new job. Thanks for listening. Edit. I was not super clear with the details. The first week I only missed for days. They moved my one-off day and made it 3. I was ready to come back day 3, but they had told me to stay home as I was already covered. Then week 2 I missed for days due to a death divided by funeral. As for the panic attack, I didn't ask to be sent home. Also, I know attendance was the issue. I'm taking full responsibility for it. I just don't understand why I was never given a write-up or any warnings. It was just so sudden. I did work for the company over a year. I had never missed work like that previously except for when I had my baby. Edit 2. I did send in doctor's notes. I did give them a funeral pamphlet. Also, we do not have HR. They also didn't fire someone who was caught drunk driving the MPANY van. I dropped someone's classes and got their job offer taken away. Last year, me and this guy, let's say Mark, we're kinda close, and we were graduating from college. We both were computer science majors and were ready to graduate and start our lives. As you may know, the job market is in shambles right now, and even getting an internship is pain. I applied for a job listing, and it had an offer where you would get some bonus if you referred a friend. I of course referred Mark, and has somehow got an interview and job offer while I didn't even get a letter back. No offense, but I was better than Mark in most aspects. Better more experience. The reason I think he got the job was because he had an internship at Google, and his dad was kind of a big name in some company. That part really didn't bother me as much, but it's when he boasted about it. I don't blame him for it, as it's exciting to get a new job. However, I felt like he was bragging a little too much. This also didn't help that he talked about moving in with his GF and starting a new life while my ex broke up with me for some reason I'd rather not say. I had enough of this and did something I really regret. I was over at his apartment and was in his room and noticed he was logged into his school account. I think he was sending his transcripts to the job or something. I think he left the room to answer a call and I realized I had an opportunity. I truly regretted it at the time, but I didn't care and jealousy was running through me. I logged in and dropped his classes. This was midway through the semester, so they appeared as withdrawals. I was only able to do this for 3 of his classes, and the other 2 needed registrar approval. I quickly tapped back to what his screen was before and pretended nothing happened. I got a call later from him a month later that the job offer was taken away as he could not graduate that semester, even when pleading with the Office of Registration. You might wonder, how did he not know it was you? Me and him were really good, so he never accused me of it, and though someone hacked him. He later did get a job offer, but it was way less than what he had. I actually earn more than him as he is still working there. I feel terrible, but what's done is done, and I just wanted to vent about it. I'm really sorry, Mark. Made another account for obvious reasons. I started a theft ring at my work as a teenager for over 5 years. Not actually a theft ring, but I don't really know how to describe it. Accepted bribes to commit theft for others. I worked in food, beverage, as a cashier in a very small restaurant divided by cafe type thing. Our little cafe branched off the main building where it was pretty much just me, a cook, and a couple other cashiers rotating working days. Managers rarely came out to our location, unless we called them or they were bored. We only really served a very specific crowd, with pretty much the same people every day. One day, a regular customer came up to me and ordered and stated he didn't have money on him and asked if we could start a tab on Paper for IOUs. I said sure. Eventually he just kept adding things to the tab and said he would pay it off when the number was a little bigger. One day when nobody was in the restaurant, he said to me that he would pay me directly a percentage of his tab, and that I would just make it disappear. So when his tab was over $100, he would give me like $40, minus 60-ish, and I would just rip up his tab like nothing happened. I never once put any of his food into the system, just wrote it down on a loose piece of paper and kept it in the drawer. Other cashiers could attain to his tab but could not cash it out. When other cashiers would ask where his tab went, I would tell them he paid it off, and I would print out a long fake receipt showing that he had paid, and they believed me. I told them only I could cash out his tab, since I was stand captain. 1 to 2 more regulars caught on and did this as well. I only did it for the regulars I trusted. Eventually, after the years went by, I got a little comfortable, and I would lie to the regulars and say their tab was higher than it was just to get a little more money. I would say $100 instead of $150. Nothing too extreme. I mean, as a 15 to 18-year-old, getting $40 minus 80 pocket cash here and there was the best thing. I actually saved enough from the theft, working wage and tips to buy my first car. Now I worked for a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm glad I did not work for a family-owned business at the time. Looking back at it, I didn't even comprehend that was theft. Now I'm like on jail time. I knew I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but I wanted the cash, got away with it, and didn't think it was a crime. I mean, I don't exactly regret it. My excuse is now that these were grown men, knowing exactly what they were doing, asking a 15-year-old to commit theft. Maybe they thought if I got caught, I was a minor, so the penalty wouldn't be bad. Or that's how rich people stay rich, by being cheap and committing crimes. I can northeast fur do that now. A piece of lint once fell out of my pocket in the grocery store, and I picked it up immediately because I thought karma would get me for littering. Welcome to adulthood anxiety. Teenager me had balls. Thoughts, I still don't think I would ever tell my company what I did. I saw a friend while drunk and I don't remember anything. I'm 19F. Recently I went to a party. At this party, I drank more than I thought I did and ended up blacking out for a couple hours. I remember at some point in the night, I was with a friend and I'm separated from the rest of the group. I am not sure why, because I don't remember. What I remember is sitting with him and leaning on him because I couldn't stand or sit on my own. I eventually just fell over into his lap. He was also extremely drunk and could not stand or really do anything either. From then on, I have a gap in my memory. The next day, I apologized for being weird. I assumed I probably was annoying and drunk, touchy, leaning on him for support and so on, or even made a move because, to be honest, there are many instances of me kissing friends when I'm drunk, even if I am not romantically interested in them. To be even more transparent, there was one other incident where I felt up another guy behind me, assuming it was the friend I was with because I did not realize my friend had left me. I am ashamed of all of these incidents and have apologized and attempted to take accountability for the last one. However, when my friend did not respond for a couple days, I felt SMTH was off. This morning, I received a long text of him confronting me ABT sign and violating him. He is OFC deeply hurt and upset about this. I apologized the best I could for a situation like this that cannot be remedied with a simple apology. A big problem is I don't remember what I did, and I don't want to push anyone to tell me. I'm wanting to talk to people involved soon. I feel wrong for even feeling upset at this situation, but I feel extreme guilt. I never thought I could hurt someone in this way, let alone a friend. Even though I did not intend for this to happen, I still violated someone. Regardless if I was drunk, I'm going to stop drinking, but I wish I just was not like this at all. TBH, what happened, and there is nothing I can do to reverse it. I'm not looking for advice. BC, I was not the one who was wronged. I just needed to talk ABT. At BCIDK, how to live with myself. Update, I found out through a friend of his what happened. He helped me find a place to piss, and after sitting down, I got on top of him and kissed him with his consent. I want to clarify that I know what I did was wrong regardless of if I was drunk. I am not using alcohol as an excuse. Many people are too focused on the alcohol aspect and are even claiming him an alcoholic. I am not. I just sometimes take it too far and black out. However, even though I am not using alcohol as a crutch, I am no longer drinking because it would be wrong for me to even risk putting someone else in that situation. Also, in the past when I have kissed friends, it has been consensual. Most of the time there is even verbal consent asked from me or the other person. I lied about my Spanish to him, and now I can't turn back. A little background, Info: I started talking to this guy romantically about a year ago and has 3 years older than me. I was introduced to him by my best friend, which is also his cousin who lives with him. So like I said before, we've been on and off talking for about a year and a half. In addition, he just moved to America in 2020 from Mexico, so he doesn't really know much English. When I first spoke to him, he didn't know any at all. My friend also told me about him not speaking English when she first gave me his number, so I was well aware of it. In that time, I had already been learning Spanish for a while, about 5 months, but I still wasn't anywhere near fluent. But in my head, I believed my Spanish was good enough. The moment we started talking is when I realized, damn, I didn't know bat shit in Spanish, but he was so handsome I decided to settle with the Deeple translator. There was many times he asked me how I learned Spanish, and many times he told me that my Spanish was good. There was even a time where I jokingly said, I don't speak Spanish, and he responded in Spanish with, oh, so have you been using a translator to talk with me? And I responded back saying once or twice. I always think about the text, because I feel like I should have been honest with him at that point. There was also times where he tried to call me, and I had made an excuse, and the conversations after that would be awkward. Now that time has passed, it's been more than calls I've made excuses for. There was multiple times he asked me to come over, and I had to make an excuse because I was too scared to get caught on how little Spanish I knew in person, but how fluent I was in text. I always try to motivate myself to learn more Spanish for him and others in general because of how beneficial it is, but I can't bring myself to stay motivated. In a few months, I will be attending his school and am nervous on if he ever sees me and tries to speak to me. Now he seems to be getting dry with me. Every time, I make up a new excuse on why I can't go to his house. One time he even called me a mentirosa liar when I told him I couldn't. Has told me many times that he only wants me and that he likes me, but I don't want to commit with my lies. I don't know what to do, and if I should just be honest, but I also don't want to ruin my chances with him. At the moment, I do know more Spanish in the advanced to intermediate level, but still not enough for a day with a native. Update. Thank you for all the honest and nice feedback about my situation. I am going to tell him the truth today or tomorrow. I was supposed to tell him yesterday and I was too busy, but shocker, I am going to his house next Thursday. So, hopefully you guys see that as a step forward, and I will make sure to tell him today or tomorrow. Don't get mad at me, it's been a year so it's not easy to tell him and scared on how he's gonna react. ATM, I am spending 132 hours on weekdays, practicing Spanish, and 3 on weekends, so yes, we're getting there. I was selling elementary school kids drugs, kinda. When I was in elementary school, my mom used to stock up on SUPRADY energy. One day, I tried it, and it was like a citrus explosion in my mouth. Better than any orange juice I'd ever had. Whether it was my young taste buds or the actual flavor, I was hooked. Fast forward to 5th grade, and Digimon mania was sweeping through my school. The craze wasn't just about watching the anime. There was this sticker collection book you had to fill with stickers hidden under yogurt lids. Being a massive Digimon fan, I knew every character, attack, evolution, and could belt out the opening theme by heart. I just couldn't let it slide. But there was a hitch. My family was pretty humble, and splurging on mountains of yogurt wasn't an option. Asking my parents for extra cash was also out of the question. So, I devised a plan. I started smuggling SUPRADY energy tablets and a to L bottle to school, mixing up the magic potion in the bathroom, and selling cups of this orange juice to my classmates during recess. On my first day, the entire bottle was emptied at 5 minutes flat. Business was booming. For a whole week, I ran my little enterprise under the radar. None of the teachers noticed, except for the coolest one ever, my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Sarhani Rip. You were the realist. He actually found my scheme hilarious, especially after I explained my Digimon sticker dilemma. My mom never caught on because she thought my dad was using the tablets too. But eventually, the jig was up. Kids were bouncing off the walls with energy, and the teachers started asking questions. When they asked the kids what they had been snacking on, I realized, oh no, it's probably the juice I'm selling. So, I decided to quit while I was ahead. In the end, I made enough money to almost complete my Digimon collection book. It wasn't about the money though. Those last few stickers were ultra rare. But hey, I gave it my best shot and had a blast doing it.